Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is August 16th, and right now we're looking at the infrared satellite imagery. You can see it's just now starting to clear the Cascades, bringing some precipitation for eastern Washington, eastern Oregon as we speak. And if you step outside across western Washington, western Oregon, southwest BC this morning, you notice just how much cooler it is, and it's a bit drier as well. The big slug of moisture that brought the record levels of precipitable water here across the region is now pushing through with that frontal system. So we are out of the swamp here for the time being. So we'll take a look at where we're going through this upcoming week and where we are headed through the extended forecast as always. And if you see this, my channel and the Green M, you are in the right place. YouTube reset this when the hacker attacked my account. The hacker didn't do any damage, and this is turning out to be more of a pain than anything the hacker did. And YouTube won't let me change it back because they have a waiting period that you have to go through before you can make changes to make sure the hacker still doesn't have access. So still waiting for that to change. Now, looking at the combination of Doppler radars, you can see it is now pushing across some eastern Oregon, eastern Washington, bringing some precipitation with it. You can see that we are still dealing with mostly cloudy conditions here across Seattle and Portland, but like I mentioned, it feels much different than it did yesterday. Again, record levels of mugginess across the region, and we had some pretty interesting rainfall totals and some pretty interesting rain shadowing going on across some of the area. That's always going to be the case here for the Pacific Northwest. And the Coquitlam River there up into British Columbia, again from Brad 604 on X. He shared this with me, and you can see a lot of water was coming down yesterday. Record rainfall levels, or I think it was the rainiest day ever in August for Vancouver, British Columbia. And again, one more look at all that water coming down. Almost looks like some of these streams and rivers actually got close to flood stage up there. Some very heavy rainfall came through. Now, this is for Seattle. You can see the previous record for August 15th was 1.20. So it looks like we hit the second rainiest August 15th ever here for SeaTac Airport. Yeah, and you can see also the record high set back in 2010. We got nowhere near that yesterday. Now, looking at Seattle, again, 0.76 inches of precipitation. We finished the storm total with 0.98, so almost got a full inch of precipitation out of that. That's even more than what the models were saying we were going to get there for SeaTac. And I know some people were complaining that they're in the rain shadow, and yep, that's the case. For example, SeaTac versus downtown Seattle, SeaTac gets about 11% more rain during the year because of that mentioned rain shadow. And then that rain shadow gets even more dramatic if you go out towards Port Angeles, Squim, some of the island counties up north, or some of the islands up north as well. And again, the rain shadow can shift back and forth depending on the prevailing wind direction of each individual system. And here is the Seattle forecast office there on Lake Washington. 0.76 turned out to be the storm total. Not bad there, especially for mid-August when we can be extremely dry and warm at this time of year. And if we take a look here, we're looking at Olympia. Olympia checked in with 0.9. So actually, SeaTac beat Olympia, and the models are saying Olympia would have a little bit more. But yeah, 0.9 inches of rain, just under an inch there. If we take a look here at Hoquiam also, you can see 1.29 just yesterday. And so, a pretty good storm total there for Hoquiam. You can see the observed high only 65, but the dew point was probably about 64, 65 at times out there for Hoquiam as well. Again, very muggy conditions, but it looks like we got record rainiest August 15th there for Hoquiam, Washington. Not the rainiest August day ever, but a very rainy day nonetheless. So here we go. Pendleton, Oregon flash flood watch still remains in effect for today. Actually starts here in a couple hours, 11 a.m. through 11 p.m. on Saturday. Some heavy rainfall, and we got some thunderstorm activity over the next couple of days. So remember, if you are near some of these burn scar areas, and if you are seeing the rain run down, the slopes here and whatnot, and if you're in some low-lying areas and you're hearing thunder out there and the rain is coming down pretty heavy, that is what to watch out for. So anyway, this was updated yesterday. We had the supplies for today. And Eastern Washington, this was updated this morning. And again, getting some decent rainfall amounts out of there. Of course, nothing like what we saw across some of the Cascades and some of the other areas, but not too bad. Now, taking a look at where we are now. So here is this system that brought the atmospheric river and our strong August frontal system. As we go on in through Sunday night, showing you about Sunday afternoon here, you can see the trough is hanging out as we go through the early portion of next week. And then what happens after that, it becomes a little bit more unclear, of course, because we're looking so far off into the forecast. But you can see a ridge starting to build up the west coast of North America, a trough hanging out here north of the Hawaiian Islands across the Gulf of Alaska. So right now we're kind of wondering how much are we going to warm up here as we go through the end of the next week and on into the next weekend here. Is this, how is this ridge really going to get amplified? Is this going to be correct here? And we're going to keep, things a little bit warm here, but not too excessively hot. All good questions. We'll continue to monitor that over the next few days. And I got more on that here in a moment. But look at what we were dealing with last night, the precipitable water. This is why it was so muggy, just ridiculous amounts of moisture being pushed up and across our region. But as that frontal system comes rolling on through there, it shunts that moisture off with the frontal system. We're back down to some normal Pacific Ocean air back across the area here this morning. So take a look at the dew point at my house. So this starts on August 14th, and you can see as we go through the day yesterday, look at these dew points just topping out near 67 degrees on my house, and now back down towards this morning. You can really see when the frontal system was moving through, and now we're back down towards much more normal dew points here, and it feels much nicer out there this morning. And this is precipitable water, the anomaly here versus normal. And if I put that into motion, you can clearly see as the frontal system moves through, we're way back down towards normal as far as that precipitable water. Now, looking at composite reflectivity. So here's the North American model. This is what the Doppler radar may look like here over the next 60 hours. I'm going to update that because this is hot off the presses. It's running as we speak. There's the 12Z data, and you can see lining up pretty good with what the Doppler radar is showing here this morning. So there's about 8 a.m. right here. 9, 10, there's noon right there. There are still a few stray showers and a bit more concentrated across some of Southwest BC where they got some pretty heavy rainfall yesterday. So that's probably not helping things out. It's going to keep things moist there. But again, we should be okay because we have been really dry here over the last few months. And as we scroll on into the day today, you can see some of this could develop into some thunderstorm activity here across portions of eastern Washington, maybe clipping southeast Washington or Oregon and clipping southeast portions of Washington as well. And you notice as we go through the afternoon, there might be some convergence zone activity there across Whidbey Island up towards Bellingham, Skagit, Whatcom County. As we go through the afternoon and evening tonight, you see that persistent convergence zone coming off the Olympics there and pushing off towards Southwest BC. Now we scroll on in towards Sunday, you see just some stray showers around for Western Washington, Western Oregon, not amounting to much there. But as we go through the day on Sunday, those thunderstorms start to develop across Southern Oregon, maybe the Southern Oregon Cascades and Eastern Oregon as well. And those could have some prolific lightning associated with them also. And then we kind of bring a little bit of another weak ripple through the atmosphere here as we go through Sunday night into Monday morning, maybe bringing some light precipitation across Western Washington, Southwest BC as we go through Monday morning. And then after that, we're going to start to dry out a bit. More on that here in a moment, but this is for today. Look at Seattle 75 here on the National Blended Models. This is daily 2-meter max temperature. 2-meter, of course, is where us humans live near down at the surface, so that's what we want to know about. And you can see the temperatures are fairly suppressed across the region. We go to Sunday, Monday, not much change. Tuesday, you start to see things warm up a little bit there. There's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Seattle starting to approach 80 again. See some 80s, mid 80s returning for Southwest BC, Vancouver Island. So you might not be done with the air conditioning just yet, and we'll see. Depends. This could change. We might get that ridge developing a little bit more here and really ramp up some of these temperatures a bit more, even west of the Cascades. But who knows? We'll be watching that over the next few days. Now, we're doing our comparison of the European artificial intelligence on the left versus the GFS on the right. Let's put this into motion. There's our trough. It's going to be hanging out here as we go through the early portion of next week like we saw. And then that ridge gets established here and the trough still off the coastline, Gulf of Alaska right there. But it allows us to warm up as we go through the end of the week and towards next week. And again, it just depends on exactly what happens with this trough and this ridging. Could go either way. This trough could trend a little bit more east or this ridge could trend a little bit stronger. So something interesting to watch over the next few days. Are we done with summer here, or are we going to get some hot temperatures across the area? Still yet to be determined. And then you can see as we go off into the extended forecast 300 hours out, big differences versus where the ridge and troughs are. And if you look at the individual models, that's to be expected though at that time frame. Now looking at the GFS, so you can see as we go through next weekend, it wants to warm Seattle up back towards, the low 80s, and then maybe even up towards 90 degrees as we go through next. That would be next next Saturday and Sunday here, but you can kind of see the ensembles aren't in that good of agreement once you get off in towards the end of next weekend and whatnot. So we'll just be watching this for the next few days. Keep that in the back of your mind. And the European, not as warm here, but it does have the warm up as we go through next weekend as well. Maybe some 80s returning to Seattle and some of the Pacific Northwest warming up, but we'll get into more detail of that over the next few days. So 8 to 14 day, this was updated yesterday, just showing you guys again above normal across a lot of the west and still some above normal. We'll see about that. I wouldn't hang my hat on that just too much yet. Now, anyway, so yeah, so the channel was active. I still get people asking me, is this your channel, my channel? This is the correct channel, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. That green M is just the default that YouTube set it back to for whatever reason. I don't know why they did that, because the hacker didn't have time to change anything. They tried to post a live stream and that's all they really got. So they weren't able to change anything. And I don't know why YouTube decided to step in and reset my things back to, the default. So I do have access to the page where I can post videos, but I cannot make changes to the page yet. So that's why that continues. I continue to talk with them. I think I'm at times talking with a human in the email interactions, and sometimes it's just an AI generated response. So I'm not getting much headway there. Sometimes it tells me to wait 7 days, and other times it tells me to go ahead and clear the cookies and cache and try to re-sign in and all this rigmarole. So yeah, that's what I'm dealing with right now. But anyway, I'm not going to mess with things too much because I still have the ability to post these videos, and hopefully in the next week or so I will be able to change everything back to normal on the channel. So anyway, thanks for sticking with me. And again, if you see behind me the plaque there, 100,000 subscribers, we got it. It came in the mail yesterday from YouTube. So thanks to YouTube from that. And again, thanks to my subscribers. This is your guys' award basically, and this channel is not possible without you. So anyway, we'll do this all again tomorrow, and I'll talk to you guys then.